Welcome to Google Consent Mode V2, Beginner's Crash Course for 2025. In this course, we'll demystify Google's Consent Mode version 2, often called GCM V2, and explain why it's become essential for websites in the current privacy landscape. We'll start with the basics of what Consent Mode V2 is and why it matters. Then we'll cover who should care about it, what you need to know before diving in, and the legal backdrop of privacy laws that make consent management so important. After setting the stage, the course will guide you through how to implement Consent Mode V2 step by step, particularly using Google Tag Manager, and how to configure it properly for your analytics and advertising tags. We'll also discuss how consent choices impact your Google Analytics data and Google Ads campaigns, and what you can do to adapt and optimize your marketing efforts. Finally, we'll wrap up with best practices for testing your implementation, ongoing compliance checks, future-proofing your consent strategy, and key takeaways to put into action. This overview gives you a roadmap. By the end, you should understand both why consent management is vital and how to implement Google Consent Mode V2 effectively on your site. This crash course is designed for anyone involved in managing a website's analytics, advertising, or privacy compliance. It's especially relevant if you're working with Google Analytics 4, Google Ads, or other Google marketing tools in regions affected by strict privacy laws. Digital marketers and advertisers will learn how Consent Mode V2 affects campaign data and performance. Web analytics professionals and SEO specialists will gain insight into maintaining data quality while respecting user consent. Website owners and developers who implement tracking tags will get guidance on integrating consent controls into their site's code or tag management systems. We also consider privacy compliance officers or consultants, as you'll see how technical implementation ties into legal requirements. In short, if you're responsible for user data collection on a site, whether you're a marketer ensuring your ad campaigns remain effective or a developer making tags privacy-friendly, this course is for you. Even beginners with no prior experience in consent management will find a step-by-step approach to get started. Digital marketers and advertisers, ensure your Google Ads and remarketing campaigns comply with consent rules without losing performance. Web analysts and developers learn to implement Google Consent Mode V2 via Google Tag Manager or code and understand its effect on data collection. Site owners and compliance professionals understand how consent management aligns with GDPR, e-privacy, CCPA, etc., and avoid legal pitfalls while maintaining useful analytics. Before we dive into implementation details, let's cover what you should know coming in. Don't worry, you don't need to be a privacy law expert or a coding guru, but a few basics will help you get the most out of this course. Basic web tracking knowledge. You should be familiar with how websites typically use cookies or tags for analytics and advertising. For instance, knowing that Google Analytics uses cookies to track visitors or that Google Ads tags are used for conversion tracking and remarketing will provide context. Google Analytics Ads Fundamentals. It helps if you have a basic understanding of Google Analytics 4 and Google Ads. You don't need advanced skills, but knowing how these platforms use data and why user consent might affect that data will make the concepts clearer. Google Tag Manager, GTM, basics, will show integration via GTM. If you've seen GTM's interface, created a tag or trigger, or at least know that GTM is a tool to inject and manage tracking scripts on your site, you'll follow along more easily. If not, don't worry, we'll still explain the steps. General privacy awareness. Some familiarity with terms like cookies, consent banner, or opt-in, opt-out is useful. We will also briefly introduce GDPR, e-privacy, and CCPA, so you'll learn about them here. But knowing that there are laws out there protecting user data will set the stage. Access to your website's tagging setup. Finally, to implement what you learn, you should have the ability to modify your site's tags or work with someone who can. For GTM users, access to your GTM container is needed. If you use GTag, Google's global site tag, directly, you should be able to edit your site's HTML or scripts. By covering these prerequisites, we ensure everyone is on the same page. If some of these are new to you, don't worry. We'll explain as we go. The goal is to make this course as self-contained as possible for beginners while still being detailed.